What's going on, everybody? Jay How here. And if you're a fan of the Witch Doctor and you saw the pet build or the pet update, that's pretty exciting. They've also completely revamped the Jade Harvester set. Now, they've changed the set bonuses quite a bit, and they just made another change just yesterday on March the 20th on the PTR. Now, they also announced that Season 2 is ending and Season 3 is going live with 2 weeks basically from now. Season 3 will be live, which means patch 2.2.0 will be live with all of these changes, and that's pretty exciting because there's a lot more diversity, I feel, with a lot of the changes that they made. Now, going over the Jade Harvester set, when Haunt lands on an enemy already affected by Haunt, it instantly deals 10 seconds worth of Haunt damage. That's up from 5 seconds. So that way, if you're spamming Haunt over and over again, normally you're just like throwing Haunt there and then running away in a circle until Soul Harvest came back around, and then you would come and attack. This gives you a reason to continue to attack because it's going to continue to deal a decent amount of damage. That's kind of nice there. Next up, Soul Harvest gains the effect of every rune, and they actually made a nice change to this as well. This is on the base part of it. You'll see you feed on the life force of up to 5 enemies, yada yada. Gain 3% intelligence for each enemy effective. This effect lasts 30 seconds. That's up from 2%. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it actually is when you consider that you have thousands of intelligence. That's a huge damage buff. Now, the part about that is that you gain the effect of every single rune. So now that lasts 60 seconds. So now you basically have a permanent 3% intelligence increase. Languish also got changed. Increase your armor by 30% and reduce the movement speed of harvested enemies by 80%. So that's another nice defensive little boost there, plus the offensive boost there. And so now you get the effect of all of these here, which is pretty nice. You also gain mana and increase the maximum amount of mana by 5% for each enemy harvested. And like I said, since this is now going to last 60 seconds and pretty much be permanently on there for you, that's a really nice buff. So we've got the 2 and 4 piece bonus, and then the other part, Soul Harvest consumes your damage over time effect on enemies, instantly dealing their remaining damage. That's how Jade Harvester works, and that's pretty much how it's going to stay. They did release a note, they put it in red, amount of dot time detonated increased from 30 to 40 seconds. So there's a small change there, but for the most part, Jade Harvester got a little bit of a revamp, but obviously kept the spirit of it in the sense that you are draining people's spirits with Soul Harvest. So that's pretty nice there. A couple things to also look at is a couple of the changes in some of the gear. There's a few new pieces which I think can go a couple different ways. And this is the part where I'm kind of excited about, because the more I started to think about this, the more it can fit other people's play styles. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be the best build when I talk about it like this, but you can have something of a hybrid build between the Zunamosas or having some type of pet out to where you can actually run the Jade Harvester build. One of the things I know when working with people before is that while the Jade Harvester build had some appeal to it, it was definitely a different playstyle, and you had to go in there, you get your hands dirty, you get damage, and then you had to run around in circles and try and pray for your life that you were going to stay alive. Now, there's a couple different things that we're going to look at. Now, there's 2 new belts that I think could possibly be used for the Jade Harvester build. This here, Haunt releases 1 extra spirit. So, for the most part, people would run Haunt with Resentful Spirits because it released 2. Now you have a choice of going another direction. With the recent update to the Wormwood being the extra poison damage, plus also, getting rid of Locust Swarm, you might actually want to go with a poison build. So you could do that with the Wormwood, or you continue to go cold and then you can, throw 3 out there. But if you have that belt, now you're being able to shoot 2 of the poison spirits as opposed to 1. Just shooting 1 out there, you'd be following stuff for forever. Or you can go any other number of directions as well. You could even go fire. So I think that helps with the diversity. If you get that Wormwood, maybe you go poison, maybe you did before anyways, but now you actually have a little bit of support with that belt. So that's a nice little item to have there. And they kind of snuck it in there. It's kind of nice. The other item that you might actually want to consider is something that you're probably going to see for most of your pet builds. However, it also works for the Jade Harvester build. Summon a Fetish Sycophant when you hit with a mana spender. You don't have to have the Fetish Sycophant passive there, but now, and it's, you might or might not want to run this. You might still want to go the Hawaii's wrap. You might want to go with this to be able to, build around a different type of element, but maybe you're going with cold. Now all of a sudden, you can run with Fetish Sycophants. Now the part about the Fetish Sycophants is they also made a change in the sense that the damage is now increased by your highest elemental damage type at the time of summoning. So if you're stacking a certain type of elemental damage, now all of a sudden you've got some Fetish Sycophants that come out, and it's not that bad. So if you're going around and you're casting Haunt, because this is every time you hit with a mana spender, so you have to cast it. So if you're going out there and you're spamming Haunt, now all of a sudden you're spawning Fetish Sycophants. So now you have tanks in a sense that you're somewhat of a pet build. The other thing that you might actually want to consider is if you're one of those people who like playing a pet witch doctor, but you also want to play the Jade Harvester build. They made a change. Now, maybe you thought about this already, maybe you didn't. The two-piece bonus of the Zunamasa set, your Fetish army lasts until they die. That's what most people go with the pet build there. But this actually gives you the opportunity to now run something of a hybrid build. You can actually throw on, now I've got an ancient item here because we still want our Haunt and our Locust Swarm and our Soul Harvest to still do all the damage we want it to do. So you still need an ancient item here. You don't want to run with some weak one-hander, a Sunkeeper. If you can get an ancient Sunkeeper, then this might actually be a build to go with. But now we have a two-piece Zunamasa set between the ring and the offhand, and we still have the 6-piece bonus there. So now I can run Fetish Army, keep those guys up. I could even run with, any elemental type that I want. And then if I continue to run with, say, the Belt of Transcendence, now you can actually run a hybrid build of a hybrid pet Jade Harvester build. I'm not saying it's going to be the top of the leaderboards. What I am saying is that it gives a lot of diversity to the Witch Doctor. Where before it's you either run Jade build, you run the Dagger of Darts build, or you run the pet build in some way or another, but there weren't a lot of options. But this actually gives you a different way of being interactive with your builds, and I think this is just one of those small things that, maybe it's for some people. You now actually can have, say you run with a physical build, but in this case we're running cold. You have 5 there. You get all of your Fetish Sycophants up from the belt. Now all of a sudden you have 20 pets up, tanking, while you can sit back, dot everything up with your Haunt, and if need be your Locust Swarm, and then go in and Soul Harvest. So that's a really nice thing to go with there. Another change that was nice to be added is the Homunculus. Now if you were going with the Homunculus Sacrifice build, this actually now has a really huge change to it. A zombie dog is automatically summoned to your side every 2 seconds. This used to be a range between 4 and 6. Now it's every 2 seconds. So if you're running with something like that, it also now runs with sacrifice damage, automatically rolls as a 5th affix between 30 and 40% damage increase. That's really nice because you're going to have those zombie dogs coming around and you continue to sacrifice. I'm getting a little offhand here, but I'm also really excited about the Witch Doctor changes. So that's a few things that you can look for coming up on patch 2.2.0. One of the things that you might actually even end up going with is the Mask of Jaren as opposed to the Quetzalcoatl. I don't know if that's the way you'll want to go, but if you're trying to find a buffer there, you can run a 2-piece Zuni, 6-piece Jade, and then possibly do some pet damage there as well. Something to keep in mind while you're looking at your gear, wondering what you need to keep, what you don't need to keep, what to get excited about. Keep in mind all of your set pieces are going to be retroactive, with the exception of that you'll have to farm a new Zunamasa in order to get that 5th Fetish Army affix on there of the 20 to 25%. But that's something to look out for. You could easily be able to change that, your elemental type, to be able to fit your play style, fit all the different changes in the skills, and it's far more balanced as far as the elemental skill damage goes. So that's what I wanted to give you guys in terms of, hey, this is what you have to get excited about with the Witch Doctor. There's a lot of variety. You can go pure Jade build, the traditional style, and burn stuff down, melt stuff down, however you want to do it, make it disappear. Or you can go with a hybrid build, or you can go with a pet build. You can go any number of directions with the Witch Doctor right now. And these small little items like the belt can really just change your entire play style. So I think that's something to get excited about. This is the Jade Harvester. I've got another video up on the pet build as well, so be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of the testing still over the next few weeks until this finally closes. You can catch me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/jhow4444. And you can see me as I test everything there, and then I will be rolling out quite a bit the minute patch 2.2.0 goes live, so be sure and check me out over there. If you haven't subscribed already and you're looking for future Diablo 3 builds, as well as other Diablo content, feel free and subscribe as well. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and until next time, happy hunting. We'll see you again.